My mother-in-law secretly took stalker photos of me nursing. Then posted them online. She thought she could control me. She thought she could take secret photos, post them online, and shame me into silence. My mother-in-law secretly took stalker photos of me nursing my baby. Then posted them online. I never thought my life would spiral into something that sounds like it belongs in a dark family drama, but here I am, writing this because I need to let it out. I'm a 37-year-old mom of 4. My husband, who's 36, and I have been together for more than a decade, and we've always had what I thought was a fairly solid relationship. We've been through the chaos of raising kids, job changes, financial stress, but somehow we always came out stronger together. That's why this whole situation is so jarring, because it's not just about me and him, it's about his family. To be more specific, his mother. My 59-year-old mother-in-law. Now, she and I have never really gotten along. I wouldn't call it open warfare, but there's always been this tension. She has a way of criticizing without outright saying it, sneaky digs about my weight, my parenting, even my cooking. But when I gave birth to our 4th child, a little boy, 4 months ago, she put on this fake, nice grandma act. I thought maybe motherhood mellowed her out in her late 50s. Maybe she had decided to let go of all her passive-aggressive tendencies. I was wrong. We've been staying at my in-laws' house for 2 weeks. It was supposed to be a family bonding time before the kids went back to school. My husband's siblings live nearby, and this is one of the few times in the year when everyone is together. So, I bit my tongue through her little comments. I tried to let things slide. I told myself it was only temporary. But the thing about people who thrive on control, they can't keep the mask on for long. It started small. She rummaged through my clothes in the guest room, claiming she was helping me organize. She made offhand remarks like, bottle feeding would give me a chance to bond with the baby too. She whined that I never put him down long enough for anyone else to enjoy him. I wore my baby most of the day, he's still little and prefers contact naps. But to her, it was an inconvenience. I let it go, until the morning she stormed into the kitchen, slapped her phone down on the counter, and flipped through a gallery of photos that made my blood run cold. They were of me. Me and my baby. Taken in secret. Some were from weird low angles, like she'd held her phone in her lap and angled it upward. Others were blurry, as though she'd snapped them while pretending to scroll. One was through the crack of the bedroom door, where I thought I had privacy. And worst of all, one was of me nursing. I froze. My heart started pounding, my face burned, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. I asked her what her problem was. Why she'd been sneaking around like a stalker. Why she couldn't just ask me to take a photo with my baby, one that I would actually approve of. Her answer? She said she couldn't because I ruined every picture. According to her, I was too fat to be in the frame. I'm 5 feet 3 inches and 230 pounds, so yes, I'm heavier than average. But these weren't just unflattering shots, they were deliberately humiliating. Angled to emphasize my double chin, my round belly, my exhaustion. She laughed, saying that nobody wanted to see just my fat arms and a baby's leg. Then she complained that I wouldn't let her have her baby. Her baby. Like my son wasn't mine at all. I told her flat out that she was done. If she wanted pictures of her grandson, she could work with the ones she already had. But she wasn't getting a solo photo shoot, not now, not ever. She sulked and snapped that I was overreacting. That was when my husband came into the room. And thank God for him, he immediately sided with me. He distracted her when she tried to sneak more photos. He got in between us whenever she pulled out her phone. But of course, word spread. His father said she had the right to take photos of her grandchild. His twin sister chimed in with dismissive comments, mocking me for being too sensitive about my weight. Even my own sister told me I was making mountains out of molehills. No one seemed to care about the real issue. It wasn't about my weight. It wasn't even about me being embarrassed. It was about consent. About respect. About privacy. Because if she didn't respect me enough to ask before taking those pictures, what else would she cross the line on? I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just boundary stomping. This was predatory. Creepy. Obsessive. And then things got worse. The rest of that day was unbearable. I kept catching her lurking with her phone, acting as though she was just checking messages while pointing the camera in my direction. I couldn't even nurse my baby in peace without feeling her eyes, or worse, her lens, on me. Every time I confronted her, she twisted it back on me. Oh, stop being dramatic. You think you're the only mother who's ever breastfed a child? Nobody cares what you look like. But that wasn't true. She did care. She cared enough to take those pictures, to zoom in on my body, to mock me in whispers she thought I couldn't hear. That night, I cried silently into my pillow, my baby's little head nestled against my chest, wondering how I was supposed to survive another week under this roof. The worst part? The creeping realization that this wasn't just about photos. This was about control. She wanted to dominate the narrative, present herself as the doting grandmother, the one suffering under an unreasonable daughter-in-law who refused to share the baby. And I knew it wouldn't stop here. The next morning, over breakfast, she struck again. She pulled out her phone and casually scrolled in front of me, as if to show off. I caught a glimpse of one of the photos, and realized with horror that she had already uploaded it to her Facebook. No emoji covering the baby's face. No context. Just me, disheveled, exhausted, exposed, nursing my child. My stomach lurched. My hand started shaking so hard I nearly dropped my coffee mug. I demanded she take it down immediately. She laughed in my face. You're overreacting. Nobody cares. It's my grandson, and I have every right to share him with my friends. That phrase, my grandson, stabbed me in the chest like a knife. I reminded her that he was our child. Mine and my husband's. Not hers. She didn't own him. But she wasn't listening. She never listened. That's when my husband stepped in, his voice sharper than I'd ever heard with her before. He told her that she had crossed the line. That it wasn't just about respect for me, it was about respecting both of us as parents. She scoffed, rolling her eyes like a teenager caught sneaking out past curfew. His father, Phil, tried to smooth things over, saying that grandparents have rights too. That phrase made my blood boil. Rights? To my child? No. What they had was access, a privilege, not a right. I felt trapped, cornered in a house that wasn't mine, forced to defend my role as a mother in front of people who refused to see me as anything other than an obstacle. And yet, I knew I couldn't just pack up and leave, or could I? I started making mental checklists. Packing essentials. Diapers. Bottles. My wrap carrier. Clothes for me and the baby. I didn't want to ruin the trip for my husband or the older kids, but I also couldn't stay in that suffocating environment a second longer. By the time my husband returned from a fishing trip with his father and brother, I had quietly zipped up a bag and tucked it near the door. When he walked through the door, I saw the exhaustion in his eyes. But I also saw something else, resolve. He pulled me aside, kissed my forehead, and whispered, "Pack what you need. We're leaving." I nearly collapsed in relief. That night, we loaded the baby into the car. The house loomed behind us, full of silent judgment and suppressed rage, but I didn't look back. For the first time in days, I felt like I could breathe. The drive was quiet, just the sound of tires humming against the road and the baby's soft snores. My husband reached over, squeezing my hand, and said, "We'll talk tomorrow about how we handle this from now on. But for tonight, just rest." I cried again, but this time from gratitude. I thought maybe, just maybe, it was over. But I was wrong. Because leaving the house didn't end the war. It only escalated it. I thought leaving would bring peace. For a few hours, it did. Back in my own home, I felt safer. The air smelled like mine again, laundry detergent, baby lotion, the faint scent of coffee grounds. Not her perfume. Not her house. But peace didn't last. When my husband returned to his parents' house without me and the baby, things exploded. Later, he told me what happened. His mother had huffed and muttered that I was dramatic, that I was possessive of her baby, that I was ruining the trip for everyone. His sister piled on, sneering that I never wanted anyone else to build a relationship with the child. My husband snapped. For the first time, he didn't let it slide. He told them to back off. He reminded them that we, not them, were the parents. That we had the final say in everything concerning our children. They didn't like that. Not one bit. The argument raged for nearly 3 hours. His mother threw crocodile tears, begging him to defend her against me, accusing me of tearing the family apart. His father claimed I was insecure, that all of this was just me being ashamed of my weight. But my husband didn't back down. He told them flatly that their behavior, her sneaking photos, their cruel comments, proved they couldn't be trusted. That night, I sat in my quiet kitchen, nursing my baby and folding laundry, when my phone buzzed. It was my husband. His voice was tight, almost trembling with anger. "She posted them," he said. I froze. Posted what? The pictures. All of them. On Facebook. My stomach dropped. I rushed to grab my laptop, my hands shaking as I typed her name into the search bar. And there it was. An entire album. Photos of me, hunched over, nursing, my shirt open, my face twisted in exhaustion. Photos from low angles that made me look grotesque. Blurry shots through half-open doors. And the caption. "My daughter-in-law won't let me see my grandson, so you'll have to excuse her hogging the frame." I felt my chest cave in. My throat burned. And the comments. God, the comments. Her sisters laughing along with her, mocking my hair, my size, my supposed selfishness. Picking me apart piece by piece, like I wasn't even human. I slammed the laptop shut and sobbed, clutching my baby as though I could shield him from the ugliness. Meanwhile, at the in-laws' house, my husband had seen it first. He'd been drinking a beer with his brother when he heard his mother and sister giggling in the kitchen. He opened Facebook and there it was, live for the world to see. He lost it. He stormed into the kitchen, phone in hand, demanding she take the photos down. She laughed, thinking he wasn't serious. She teased him, saying, "I thought you weren't ashamed of being married to a fat woman." That was the moment he snapped. He grabbed her phone straight out of her hands, ignoring her screeching protests. He deleted every photo from her Facebook, then from her gallery, before tossing the phone back on the counter like it was poisoned. And then he said the words that made me cry when he repeated them to me later. "It's not her side versus mine. It's our side versus hers." For years, I had lived with this undercurrent of insecurity, wondering if he secretly agreed with their comments. Wondering if he thought I was too heavy, too sensitive, too much. But in that moment, he chose me. Us. Our family. Still, the damage was done. The following morning, he drove home early with the kids. He walked through the door with dark circles under his eyes, his jaw tight, but when he saw me waiting with coffee and breakfast, his shoulders softened. We sat together at the table, the baby cooing in his wrap, the older kids scattering to their rooms. And we made a decision. No more annual visits to his parents' house. No more bending the rules for the sake of family bonding. Boundaries would be set in stone. If his parents wanted to see the children, it would be in our home, under our rules. And the moment they crossed the line, they'd be shown the door. It felt like reclaiming power. Like drawing a line in blood across the floor, cross it, and you're out. But even then, I could feel it in my bones, this wasn't over. Because people like her don't give up. They push. They pry. They invade. And I had no idea what her next move would be. The next days were a blur. On the surface, life at home returned to normal, school prep for the older kids, late-night feedings with the baby, my husband fixing small things around the house. But beneath that normalcy, tension simmered like a pot ready to boil over. His phone never stopped buzzing. Every few minutes, another notification, missed call, voicemail, unread text. His mother was relentless. At first, the messages were furious. "How dare you humiliate me in my own house? I'm your mother. You owe me respect. She's turning you against me, can't you see?" Then, when he didn't respond, they turned desperate. "Please, I just want to see the baby. You're breaking my heart. I'll do anything, just don't cut me out." But we both knew it wasn't genuine. It was manipulation. Every word designed to claw her way back into control. My husband ignored them. He'd silence his phone, set it face down, and focus on us. But I could see the strain in his shoulders, the way his jaw clenched when the vibration rattled across the counter. One evening, after the kids had gone to bed, he finally said it out loud. "I'm done." His voice was steady, calm, final. "I'm done with the games. Done with pretending she'll change. If she wants a relationship with us, it'll be on our terms. And if she can't handle that, then she doesn't get to be in our lives." Hearing him say it out loud felt like a weight lifting off my chest. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt like we were on the same team, united and unshakable. But then he admitted something that made me blink back tears. He told me that as much as her creepy, invasive photos disgusted him, they'd made him notice something he hadn't before. He chuckled sheepishly, rubbing the back of his neck. "Those stupid angles she thought would humiliate you? All they did was remind me how much I love your round face. You're beautiful. She'll never see it, but I do." For the first time in weeks, I laughed. Really laughed. The tension cracked, and for a moment, we were just us again, husband and wife, not soldiers in some toxic family war. But the battle wasn't over. Because toxic people don't fade quietly into the background. They regroup. They plot. They wait for another opening. And I knew my mother-in-law wasn't done with us. The next morning proved me right. While I was feeding the baby, my husband's phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't just a message. It was a Facebook notification. Against my better judgment, I clicked it. And there it was. A new post. She hadn't given up. She had uploaded a fresh batch of photos. Not of me this time, but of the baby's clothes she'd kept from the visit, his little socks, his blanket, even a bottle she'd swiped. The caption read, "When your own son turns against you, but at least you'll always have reminders of the grandson you love." A chill ran down my spine. This wasn't just defiance. This was obsession. I looked at my husband, and I could see it in his eyes. The war had only just begun. When I saw that Facebook post, those tiny socks, that blanket, the bottle I hadn't even noticed was missing, I felt something break inside me. This wasn't just about boundaries anymore. It wasn't just about disrespect. It was obsession. Possession. Like she thought pieces of my child could belong to her. I showed the post to my husband. His face went white, then red. He didn't shout. He didn't swear. He simply picked up his phone, blocked her number, and deleted the Facebook app entirely. "She's done," he said. "She wants war, she can have silence instead." But silence didn't stop her. Within hours, messages started pouring in from other relatives. His aunt called to say his mother was crying, claiming I'd stolen her grandchild. A cousin texted him, begging him to fix things before it's too late. Even his father left a voicemail, accusing me of being controlling and tearing the family apart. Each message was like a dagger, twisting deeper into the wound she had created. But for once, my husband didn't waver. He called his father back and told him, in no uncertain terms, that until his mother could apologize sincerely and respect our rules, she would not be seeing the children. Not at our house. Not anywhere. His father sputtered, tried to argue, but my husband cut him off. "Our kids aren't pawns in her game. If you want to see them, it will be at our home. Otherwise, it won't be at all." And then he hung up. For a few days, things quieted down. The buzzing phone stopped. My anxiety eased. I dared to believe maybe we had finally won. But then, late one night, my husband was scrolling through a friend's Facebook page when he froze. He handed me the phone without a word. There, on the screen, was another post from his mother. A collage. It wasn't just socks and blankets this time. She had taken screenshots of every single photo she had managed to save before my husband deleted them from her phone. Dozens of images of me, nursing, sleeping, holding the baby. And beneath it, the caption that made my blood turn to ice. This is what they don't want you to see. My grandson, trapped with a selfish mother who won't share him. Pray for me to get custody before it's too late. Custody. The word burned into my brain like a brand. She wasn't just trying to humiliate me anymore. She was threatening me. Threatening to use the law to rip my child from my arms. My husband ripped the phone out of my hands and called his brother immediately. His voice shook with fury as he demanded answers. His brother stammered, said their mother had been drinking too much, that she didn't mean it. But we both knew better. You don't type out something like that by accident. The next morning, we contacted a lawyer. It felt surreal, sitting in that office with my baby in my arms, explaining that my mother-in-law had posted stalker photos online and was now hinting at trying to take custody. The lawyer was calm, reassuring, but firm. She doesn't have a case, he said. Grandparents don't get custody just because they want it. But you need to protect yourselves. Document everything. Every message, every post, every comment. And most importantly, keep your distance. We left the office with a folder of papers and a heavy weight on our shoulders. The next step was clear, we were cutting her off. Completely. No visits. No phone calls. No, just stopping by. If she wanted to see our children again, it would only be under strict conditions, supervised, and after a genuine apology. But deep down, I knew she would never apologize. Not really. People like her don't see themselves as wrong. They twist reality until they're the victim, until everyone else is the villain. That night, as I rocked my baby to sleep, I whispered a promise into his soft hair. I will protect you. No matter what it takes. She will never hurt you the way she's tried to hurt me. My husband came into the nursery, wrapped his arms around us both, and whispered back, we're in this together. Always. And for the first time in weeks, I felt safe again. Not because the threat was gone, but because I knew, without a doubt, that he was on my side. Still, I couldn't shake the chill crawling down my spine. Because women like her don't fade away quietly. They wait. They scheme. They come back. And I know, deep down, that this isn't the end of our story. It's only the beginning of a much darker battle.